Hello and welcome to this visualization detailing video game history from the 1980s to now. My name is Anthony Tsoukas and I'm going to take you through this visualization today. So as you can see in front of you, we've got a collection of three graphs. This top graph, the main graph, details video game sales in terms of millions of units. And from the start, from the 1980s to 1995, it would appear that not much is going on. But video games are still relatively in their infancy during this phase, and there's actually quite a lot of competition going on, where it started off with Atari being the main developer, and surely enough, in the next few years, leading up to the 1990s with Nintendo's release of the Game Boy, Nintendo took over that market entirely. In the mid-90s, we then saw Sony come into the market and release the Sony PlayStation console, alongside Nintendo releasing the Nintendo 64 console. This period saw an increase in activity in the gaming market as these games were, of course, more technologically advanced and became instantly more popular with some big hits between the two consoles. Leading into the 2000s, Microsoft also joined the race with their Xbox console, and by this stage, games and their sales really began to soar, forming what could be called a platform monopoly between the companies Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. Now, leading into the period around 2010, we actually can see a large decline in sales, which to some would be much a surprise, myself included. Upon further investigation, we can see that around the same time is actually where we see a boom in the online integrated marketplaces of each of these game console platforms. So the graph below actually shows the increase in Steam user accounts. Now, Steam is an online integrated gaming platform which PC users use. And around the time that Steam was introduced and their users soared, we actually saw a decline in overall game retail sales, which actually tells us a story that it's also not only Steam accounts that exist, but we have accounts in Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft all have their own integrated online marketplaces, and they all boomed around the same time, which explains the overall decline in video game retail sales, and really gives a sense to the changing consumer base that we have in their demands and what they expect in terms of going to the store and buying a game. We're no longer looking at the physical interaction of a storekeeper and a consumer, but we're looking at the simplicity of sitting on someone's couch and purchasing a game with your credit card. Thank you all for the time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.